Greetings and salutations, internet dwellers. It's good to have you here. It's kind of random. I was meaning to go earlier in the week, but life and whatnot. Um, glad to have it though. One of my last live streams, someone was asking me about Donald Trump's assassination attempt. This was assassination 1.0, if you can call it that, because um when we get to government this illegitimate, the candidates have nothing to offer. Democrats are running on the fact that they're not Trump. Donald Trump is running on the fact that the government is trying to kill him. Because we had good presidents who were killed by the government. Really not good presidents, but we had presidents who acquiesced to the movements that we built. Those are what we need. We don't need to vote for someone who hates us every 4 years, expecting them to do something. We need movements to hold them accountable. Whoever gets in there, make them afraid of us. But yeah, the permanent government has killed multiple leaders who listened to the movements, trying to discourage people in power from doing that. Then by the time they got to people like Joe Biden, they were just recruiting directly from the Ku Klux Klan. And Joe Biden's always talking about him and his friend Strom Thurmond, another Klan member who was in office, voting to lock up black people for shit that his son was doing at the next level. When you talk about like low-level crack smokers getting lifetime sentences, mandatory minimums, right? We're talking about small quarter-size amounts of crack. Joe Biden was laughing about, yeah, we're locking them up. The judge doesn't have a choice. He's laughing at it. Meanwhile, his family, if there was a Olympic game for crack smoke, like the Hunter Biden, well, just the Biden family in general, they are Olympic level crack smokers, um, Olympic level criminals in general. Um, so it's just like Donald Trump is not saying that there weren't some possible bullets fired. It's just I'm a little skeptical because I mean, what is he running on that's so offensive? I mean, maybe he's like a little less pro-war. Um, but he's a big target. For them to miss twice, I don't know. I don't know if I'm buying that. Um, can't hear you. Can you hear me now? Hello, hello? Oh boy. Because it says nothing about audio. I don't think I hit volume. Is anyone else having that issue? Oopsie doodle. Well, I don't see anything to change the audio. Okay, turned I turned it off, turned it on. Hopefully I can hear you. There we go. Beautiful. If you can't hear me, try hitting your volume. Volume up. Volume V up. Yeah. Um, but yeah, it's just been one of those weeks. Been busy working, and I've been blessed with a lot of the responsibilities, but goddamn, it's been tiring. Um, and then while this is going on, the Democrats who like Kamala Harris, um, if there was anybody who I could like less than Trump, like she's on the list. She was like someone who I was like, why is she even competing back in 2020? Why does it seem like they're trying to prop her up? She got destroyed by Tulsi Gabbard. They still tried to prop her up. She got zero delegates. Then she became the vice president. What leverage did she have to get into that position? 2008, last time I voted for a Democrat because I realized they were full of shit, say anything and do nothing. But Hillary Clinton had she had this vast network, and it was like international. That's why her brother was able to become in charge of natural resources like Haiti's gold deposits. Right. This is how much power Hillary Clinton had. You know, her and the Clinton Foundation, those criminals. Um, I wish Barack Obama didn't put her in his cabinet, but he did. And on one level, is you understand it because of just the power dynamics. You know, like she was working with the CIA. They were trafficking drugs back when her husband was just the governor of Arkansas. You know, like probably the first or second Epstein island trippers. You know, back when he was still new to the game. Um, so they had those connections for a while. So even though I hate the fact that Hillary was brought into the cabinet, I kind of understand it. Uh, Kamala Harris, I mean, I guess she was district attorney, just garbage. I think they chose her because like she is willing to do the agenda of people like Joe Biden. Like Joe Biden, he gets together with the Klan, his Klan friends, and then he has his son go bring in some Nazis from the Azov battalion. So you got Nazi and Klan members coming together, figuring out how to carve up this world, create policies to fuck people over. And then it's just like we can't be the racist people. We got to be able to point to people like Donald Trump, call him racist. That we need colored people to do our agenda. So let's get Kamala Harris and your Barack Obamas and people who just don't give a shit that they're on the Titanic as long as they got first class seats. And I think that's what Kamala served. But it's just like, I mean, she is, I guess, replaceable. You just got to get someone so desperate to climb the ladder they don't realize that they're climbing into a burning building. So it's yeah. I mean, I guess it's just, a lot of her. Said it before, but a lot of Kamala Harris just reminds me of my family who was brainwashed by the military and then just got into a job oppressing their own community. So it's just like I see that. I know that they can cultivate that mindset on it requires a lot of money. You got to give creature comforts to a certain select group of people, but at the same time you poisoning their water too. It's the same shit with Kamala. No matter what neighborhood she is, she's going to feel the effects of the policies eventually. Probably already feeling them. She's just too stupid to realize it, or too blinded by her own ambition. Also, love your work. It's fucked up what YouTube did. I concur. Right now we're at the 10-year anniversary of them fucking me over. Anniversary commiseration. But yeah, over a decade ago is when it happened. It's crazy to think about. But I was trying to warn people, like, if they're coming for my content, they're gonna be coming for everybody else. Sure enough, if you're saying anything that isn't stay up to date on your boosters and go Ukraine, and calling other people anti-Semites who are against genocide, that you're shut down. So it is like one of those things. Like, man, I wish we would have nipped it in the bud initially. For me, I mean, personally, of course, I'm going to say that because it would have been nice to just get my channel back reinstated and get all those systematic suppression of my videos, my content. When they started manipulating the algorithm, that's when it was a wrap. Because there was once upon a time when the algorithm was based on watchability. So my video had like a higher than 80% finishing rate for like new people. So that's when the networks were on my jockstrap. Like I was getting called into full screen to the Google offices. They were like, man, how are you able to retain your viewers' attention for so long? And then like the algorithm favored that. They were kissing the ring of people like myself. Then they realized they don't need that kind of algorithm. They can make the algorithm whatever the fuck they want. They just push whatever they want you to see. And then they put like a fucking thumbnail to mislead you into clicking it. Yeah, and it's just like the most recent Trump shooter, right? Deranged person, probably CIA, definitely CIA connected, but also brainwashed severely by the media. Like he was one of those people going out to Ukraine to recruit people to a senseless war after their government had been couped. So we overthrew their government, put in our puppet government. They started slaughtering the civilians over there, and he went over there to support the genociding side, the people who were killing native Russians. Disgusting. Yeah, but I'm glad you have other platforms you can still post on. I'm glad as well. I mean, I'm glad to see a lot of them picking up steam. People are just looking to, to escape the bullshit that is YouTube censorship and just censorship in general, because it's all garbage. TikTok, people, oh, you got to go to TikTok. It's the largest website in the world. I started uploading. I got more of my content taken off from TikTok than YouTube. I mean, individual videos, but they don't have the 3 strikes and then your whole channel is taken down. That's YouTube specific. So I had like more than 3 individual videos taken down from YouTube. It's like certain stuff, like you can't even like mention it. You can't use clips of it. They want to suppress the idea in general. They don't want anybody to know, especially if it involves one of their funders, your Klaus Schwabs and your Bill Gateses and all that shit. Fuck full screen, yeah. Fuck them hard. Even TikTok will still fuck you over. Absolutely, they will. Hi, Nate. What it do? Why are you still awake? Because it's not even 9 o'clock where I am. Dudes, you aren't paying attention to comments here. I am. Sorry. It's just, you were a little reluctant. The screens are separate. I'm gonna figure all this out. We're gonna ameliorate the issue. What about Patreon? Nate, what up? Patreon. I still have one. Don't advertise really over there, but I did give a bunch of extras to the Patreon subscribers, so they get like downloadable stuff, like musicals and special videos, like very special videos. You like my toes? There might be some pictures over there, maybe. He is though. He is. Who is what? I don't know. But yeah, just illuminating times though. I always find the election years to be very, informative as to how people are perceiving the world around them. It breaks my heart when people get division between their neighbors over a shitty politician. Like which one, and it's just what's really sad to me. Okay, you watch the debate, like let's say Trump and Biden. All they're doing is complaining about who's more senile. We got all these issues in the world: homelessness, people can't afford shit, can't feed themselves. Water is undrinkable, air is unbreathable, right? And all these motherfuckers can do is talk about who's more senile. Joe Biden was like, yeah, no, you know what, Trump, you're shitty at golf. You're more senile than me. And Trump was like laughing. He's like, man, I took 2 cognitive tests. I'm the best. My cognitive abilities are better than any president over 80 years old. And it's just like this back and forth. And I'm like, all these problems. And it's just like, we got to worry about who's more senile. Like, and then, then they took Joe Biden out because he's clearly not competent enough to run the country. Uh, uh, so he can't run for the next presidential election. So they kicked him out, brought in Kamala. Well, meanwhile, Joe Biden is still the president. So who's in charge? And big surprise, it was never Joe Biden in charge. He's the figurehead, and he's okay with a lot of crazy shit because he's a Klan member. He uses divisive tactics to break up communities that should be coming together to oppose him. But it's just like, yeah, he's never been in charge. That's why my position, it's a real simple one. It's not vote red or vote blue. It's the whole federal government is illegitimate. We need to create mechanisms to hold them accountable. That includes movements coming together. It's like Boeing. It's like 30,000 Boeing people came out, started picketing. Just like when I showed up with these organizers for a Boeing event when they were showing off their new weaponry that they were going to be bringing to Israel. And then we had so many people show up that they didn't even show up to their event. I mean, they moved it online, but they were afraid to show it because they know the public scrutiny is something that they do not want. So we just have to keep these movements going. We have to defund these motherfuckers, these criminals. We should get offended when you see Kamala Harris and her team sending you text messages asking for money. Like, what do we have to do to get you to give money to the Democrats? I know we stole all your money, gave it to these corporations, and we got more money than we can ever spend, and we did it all by stealing from you. But now we want you to donate directly. Like you just take the money that you just worked for, the stuff that's not being stolen in your taxes, and the stuff that's left over, give it to us, the Democrats, because we got your back. No, that is the craziest shit for someone like Kamala Harris and her team or any fucking Republican Democrat asking me for my money continuously. It's offensive. And it's just like, yeah, we do not need that. I mean, I am glad to see, the last person I voted for on a national level for president was Jill Stein. I was with her in 2016. I was glad to have her because it was just so stupid. People telling me, "Oh, you're you're against Hillary. It's because you're sexist," and it's just like I was offended because I'm like, "You're saying Hillary's a woman, so we have to believe her word?" The bitch who lied about everything that she ever said, like now she's just gonna be telling us the truth that she's a woman. I mean, I never believed it. But it was just like, I was still getting the whole you're sexist if you're against Hillary. And then I was like, yo, Jill Stein, that's who I'm rolling with. And it was all policy. I had multiple videos breaking it down. But I still got people saying, well, a vote for Jill Stein is basically a vote for Trump. So basically, you're still sexist, even though you're voting for a woman. And it was just mind-boggling. It was just silly, the fucking arguments that people put forward. No part of me will ever vote Democrat. I will not vote for any of these corporations that run either of the two parties. It's like a corporation coming up to you and they're like, do you want us to rape you with the blue condom or the red condom? Okay. The blue condom, it's ribbed for your pleasure. It's got like a BLM pin on it. It's got a LGBTQIA plus symbol on it. It's like, this is going to be the best raping you've ever got. And can you really say it's rape if you chose the blue one? It's not really rape. We're just going to rape you. And you're like, no, I don't want either of those options. And then they like, no, no, that's not an option. Like, you're just throwing your vote away. You got to vote for one of these. Like, so I got to vote for my own demise just because everybody else is going to do it. That is some silly fucking logic. You can't form a line if you're scared to stand alone. And I think more and more people are just, they're going to be on that tip. And I think we got to be vocal about it, because I believe the Green Party got more than 5% in 2016. And I had this discussion with someone who was like, when I started to allude that the elections might not be on the up and up, he was like, "Oh, if you think the election is rigged, you're one of those crazy conspiracy theorists. I'm gonna have to get up and walk away." It's like, okay, I don't think it was rigged. I know that motherfucker was rigged. I know it for a fact. Do not trust it. Not saying, not speaking to whatever Donald Trump's implications are. I just know our elections are not on the up and up. Nobody is, yay, we got to vote for Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, Donald Trump, Kamala Harris. Nobody is excited to do any of this shit. And it's just a further sign of just how illegitimate the government is. And when they're that illegitimate, you got to cool them. Like they cool countries all the time. And that's going to be the demise of us if we don't do something about it. Right now, they're trying to stoke nuclear war with Russia. And it was like they almost crushed crossed one of Russia's red lines. And Russia was about to retaliate because it's like a whole trigger sequence to nuclear war. And it's why are we getting so close to the extermination of all life on this planet? Is because of criminals who run our government, who should be brought to justice. So don't vote for them. Unite with your community. Go make them feel the fear of God or the fear of the people. And lock up all of their puppet masters. Something that's got to happen. Dudes, you aren't paying attention to the comments here. Yes, I am. Hey, Nate, what it do, Dayton? Jill Stein on Breakfast Club made more sense on real issues. Yeah, I'm late to watch that one, but I did get around to seeing it. And it was a beautiful thing to see. It was my introduction to her vice president. I'm one of those people. I got the Malcolm. He was talking about his love for Malcolm. I just kept thinking, like, I got all this stuff. A lot of the designs I got include Malcolm. I just, got the shirts with Malcolm X quotes, and, and it was refreshing to see someone running for president, not getting away from that. Kamala, she says she's Black, but when she became the DA for Frisco, she was running as an Indian. She's opportunistic. She uses her identity to shame people who don't vote for her and accuse them of being racist. And that's like her whole shtick. Just like she's like Hillary Clinton 2.0, because all Hillary could do was should be like, you don't vote for her because you're sexist, even if you're a woman. And it's just like, you don't vote for Kamala, you're racist, even if you're Black. I mean, but then, they said the same shit Joe Biden said, if you don't vote for me, you ain't Black. Yeah, thank you, Klan member Joe Biden. I don't get my directions on what to do as a Black person from a racist motherfucker who locked up my community. You piece of garbage. You should be in jail. The fact that you are not, it just proves that the justice system is broken, and the only way to adjudicate the matter is a revolution. Lock your ass up. Vote local too. Yeah, that's it. I mean, get involved. I think we need to act locally, because it's going to require local and state governments to just like stave off the federal government. Like, we need to come together on a local level. Be like, federal government is illegitimate. All of the subsidies that they give to these corporations, like your Boeings, Northrop Grumman, all these military manufacturers who are making our lives more precarious. They're killing us because I mean, not only from, you know, the wasted resources going to these criminals, you know, that we can't spend on housing, can't spend on education, we can't spend on lowering the cost for healthy food alternatives. Like we can't do any of that shit because of these corporate welfare queens. But also on top of that, they're directly endangering us by funding World War III and provoking it. And then we see them like coming up with new robots, like right in our face. They're like, they got the dancing robots, the robots with flamethrowers, missiles, guns. It's like, does anybody trust these maniacs with that kind of technology? I don't. We need to lock them up before they get to the T2000. You know, the one that it's the metal that melts down and reforges itself. We got to do it. Because once they get that kind of technology, I mean, we're already going to have like the soldiers who are playing their game. They're going to be wiping out enough of humanity where it's just like we don't have the numbers to fight. Then they introduce like latest robots, and it's just going to be an apocalyptic hellscape where the people who were disillusioned by the government's lies, they wake up and now they got like a bunch of robots down their throat. And it's just like, you know, the robots, I don't know. I can't have a robot overlord. But I feel like they're cooking them up right now. You look at all that crazy shit. Uh, you know, that's why I'm saving up for one of my Tesla brain chips from Elon Musk. You know, crack my skull open and put one of those chips in. I'll be able to control my phone without using my hand. So that's the only benefit. And I trust the government enough to allow them to be able to read my thoughts, see what I see and whatnot. Is the best option Trump? No, best option is revolution. I don't trust Kamala. I don't trust either of them. I felt like her vice presidency was a chess move to get her to main office. I mean, I can see that. I can see this whole shit being, you know, orchestrated in a way for the outcome that they want. That's why it's just like we got to disrupt it by any means necessary. And like I said, the alternative is like we get associated for with our government's actions. So all of this provocation going on, not just in one particular country, around the world, they think that's America. So Russia, they're talking about the red line that we almost crossed. Russia was like, yeah, don't think America won't catch some of this shit too, because they got hypersonic missiles. And it's like the people who they want to kill is a very slim percentage of people who are benefiting from this shit. And I would rather just go to them as a community and just bring them to justice. Just like, here you go, Russia. You can have these criminals. Here you go, Iraq, Iran. You know what? We weren't down with that shit. They were wasting our resources to fuck y'all over, but you can have them. So this is what we got to do. We got to have the revolution for the, not just to be free, but I'm talking about the survival of life on this planet. It's just like something's got to be done. I would understand if they perceived Americans, you know, as indistinguishable from our government, why they want some funk with us, right? But we need to let them know, nah, I am not my government. My government does not represent me. I want them locked up more than you do. And let's do it. And we just like, once we decide the federal government is illegitimate, then the people who are the enforcers for the federal government, your soldiers, you know, they might say, I don't want to bring in a military state. That's not the kind of life I want to live. I'm an actual patriot. That means I side with my community. That's what patriotism is. Loving your community, building that up. If you trust your government and you love them, that's the definition of insanity. You know, all these people who are like, yeah, you know, I'm a patriot. I'm gonna go kill in Iraq. It's not patriotism. That's kind of insanity. I mean, I'll acknowledge you might have been misled by the media. God bless you. You know, a lot of those people, they end up committing suicide. I wish once they realized they were lied to, you know, they came together with the community to oppose the forces that are bringing everybody down, not just in their communities, but internationally. Did you see the cyber attacks? I know there's been a few phones blowing up. Yeah, that was I thought those were pagers, and that was Israel. They were laughing about killing innocent people. Um, because the phones were in people's pockets. They were talking about laughing about blowing up people's testicles. It's like it's gonna be Hezbollah because the balls are blown up or some crazy shit. And it's just like these motherfuckers are sick, disgusting. It just makes me think of our technology because we got this 5G shit. A lot of evidence pointing to that not being too good. All that radiation, it might have a similar effect, just slower. Um, but yeah, it's just you don't want to be too reliant on any tech. Um, and like I said, those we're talking about governments that need to be held accountable. So that's all colonial state governments, settler colonial governments. That's your Israel's, America's, Canada's, Australia's. I mean, we can just keep going down the line. The countries that kick out these colonial powers, they end up doing better. I mean, they continue to try to destabilize them, but the people are better off without them in their country. And we have a colonial government that has taken over the Turtle Island, and it's just and it's only gotten worse. And something needs to be done. So, and it's not voting for either one of the top two evil. You can't justify it. Please don't try to. Erotic. Oh yeah, and one comment for the Breakfast Club thingy because that was blatant disrespect. It just reminded me of back in 2016 when Jill Stein was running the time, last time I voted for her. And it was just like people coming out of the woodworks. Like it was someone who I thought was cool from what was it, Daily Show? He ended up getting his own show, John Oliver, and it was just out of nowhere. He just started like just shitting on her, like he had all this dismantling of like common sense things, but he did. Of course, he didn't bring her on the show because he would have Jill Stein would have did exactly what she did on the morning show and just destroyed whatever propaganda made them look foolish. So at least he had the good sense to do it from a distance, but it was people show their colors. And I was also offered a ride on the gravy train for supporting a senator from New York. And it's just I'm on a different route. And yeah, I felt that. Cause I saw certain people like, the money went up, of course, but then also it's just the algorithm favors you when you're putting out whatever narrative that the state has approved for you to say. So it's I know the people that got that financial incentive, but it's crazy because a lot of these motherfuckers have more money than they could spend, like where they could live off the interest, and they still couldn't say no to more money. I was in a precarious situation, and I could have benefited from some extra money, but I was like, yeah, I'll be all right. I'll figure some shit out. and I chose to go a different route. And it's just like, I always say when you get that kind of a position, it's a responsibility. And we're talking about people who have an insatiable avarice for more things, to the point where they will never speak up or speak out against something that is transparently evil, and they will defend the evil. And it's just, the people, the breakfast show people, they were foaming at the mouth over Jill Stein. And then when Joe Biden was on talking to Charlemagne the God, and he said, well, if you don't vote for me, then you ain't black. There was not any pushback. Not a, dude, don't you hang out with Klan members? Doesn't your son like parlay with Nazis in the Ukraine? Who are you to be some authority on black people telling us what we got to vote for? No pushback on that. They only had pushback on fucking Jill Stein, and that's in that they show their allegiance. And it's not to you. It's not to the people. It's to get more money to fill a hole that can never be filled, and says a lot about their character, or a little, how little they have. Yeah, Jill destroyed Angela Rye. Yeah, she was insufferable. I don't know if I've ever seen her before. I remember they had someone else who I thought she had a higher voice. Could be the same chick just with surgery, but whatever, she was horrible. Butch Ware was dropping gems too. Oh yeah, he was, like I said, that was my introduction to him. He was continuing to bring it. Hey man, hope you're having a good night. Were you a Bernie fan? Was. I was a fan of him, his message. But he revealed himself. And it might be, he had a lot of pressure, like I said, Clintons, they're connected to the CIA, FBI. They got some hitters. They got some dirt on the Burnster. Some threats on them. They were like, yeah, we put one of those exploding pagers in your testicles or whatever. I don't know, but it was it was disheartening to watch his whole movement fall apart. That's why I can't fuck with anything relating to a Democrat. They always say it's the best vehicle to get into office. It's like the best. No, that's not true. Um, it's the most corrupting. And until they run on a policy like all of the Democrats, for them to get, because right now we got so many people who have been around so long that they were clearly on Epstein flight, and they got blackmailed. They got some dirt on them. And it's just like the whole process of getting them onboarded into that organization is just like it takes whatever they might have been doing, and it just like they just get in line. We saw it with AOC, we saw it with Bernie, saw it with whoever was running on something other than genocide and just killing people domestically. Giving all kinds of money to the richest people instead of, stopping those subsidies and funding locally owned business. No answers on that. They just get in, they start calling Nancy Pelosi Mama Bear and doing whatever they're told to do. Powers exist to serve power and keep power. Yeah, I mean, the system we have it's so easy an idiot can run it. That's why it's just like it's set up by people a long time ago, so it could be like manipulated by their offspring. So we got a bunch of nepo babies with no talents running everything into the ground. We just got to keep in mind when we have our Walking Dead like event, somewhere everything goes down and we got to rebuild, right? What are we going to need first? We're going to need clean water, food, maybe some goods, so that's the essential workers who get paid less than minimum wage whenever it's possible. They get fucked over on all of their finances. So they're the most struggling people in our society, even though they are the most valuable. Right. Then you get to like who's the richest person. The richest people, they contribute nothing to society. They're in control of hedge funds that control everything. You know, all these monopolies, these natural monopolies, they're in charge of. All right. So let me ask you. All right. I don't know if you've seen Walking Dead. It's like zombies came over, but it's a zombie apocalypse. But really, you just think of any apocalypse, right? Shit just goes south, right? At what point are we going to need hedge fund managers? At what point in society are we just going to be like, okay, we got all the food, we got all the necessities. At what point are we going to be like, let's bring in hedge fund managers, CEOs, CFOs, or just boards of corporations? Like we need to bring those into our society. If we had to start over, I would postulate we would never need those motherfuckers. So why are they the richest people right now? I'll tell you why: corruption. And it's just like we get trained to think, oh, they're captains of industry. They got all that money. They must be smart. No, they get much poorer people to make their stuff. Then they patent it, and they get richer, and they contribute nothing. They prevent stuff from making it to the market with their patent system. They pay for non-disclosure agreements, so you don't know what the fuck they're doing. Yeah, so it's just like, then they buy up our politicians. And it's just like this whole shit is so perverse. It's so disgusting. It's just, where's that revolution at? We got all these gun nuts, and you know they're going after Trump apparently. I mean, I would prefer it to be nonviolent. I'd like to see the fear in some people's eyes. Um, but yeah, we definitely need to hold them accountable, and you know, send them off to the countries that they destroyed. And you know, that's also how we build uh, a bridge with the countries who should hate us. We just offer up the leaders who lied us into war with them. Just saying some LOL, and Diddy's running around. And Nate, I'm excited that you still exist on this here internet. I'm excited to be around. I'm gonna be on here a lot more often, and then I'm also gonna be, uh, you know, have a page for content for some of the groups I organize with. So it's gonna be more stuff, different stuff, but it's gonna be some more. I'll put it out there once I start posting that. All CEOs will attempt to control whatever small group of people. Oh, I guess you mean group. Um, they can. Naturally, the most skilled person will be the leader, not the assholes with $1,000 suits. Um, well, usually the asshole with the $1,000 suit. Um, well, you know, that's why I like working in unions, working in stuff where worker owned, you know, workers should have a say. But, you know, so many criminals, it's hard not to put money in their pockets somehow, some way. If something did happen to a catastrophic degree via zombie apocalypse, civil unrest, whatever, the elite won't even be here anymore. They'll be in a bunker in Switzerland while we eat each other. Well, that is an interesting and dark proposal. But what if we get to them before they can pull off whatever apocalypse they got coming? That is what we need to do. That is just next time they got Davos, we just need to like start a campaign. If you know anybody who's showing tendencies of being a school shooter, they're out there. I remember when the trench coat mafia hit. I think it was in Denver. We had like a similar group pop up. They started wearing trench coats like them. And it was like the people who were being picked on, and we were worried that they would be school shooters. What we should have been doing was offering them literature about, Davos and the World Economic Forum, and then paying for their plane tickets. Not to encourage them to, go on a mass shooting spree, just to like get them to travel. Maybe if they saw the people who are, causing their precarious situation, and they, had a better understanding of the power at play. I think, would you rather have a school shooting or a wealth shooting? The World Economic Forum, find out like, 30 kids are dead, or Klaus Schwab and Bill Gates. I don't want anybody dead, really. But I'm just saying, if you were a school shooter, you know how you got like anybody who sees you, they're trying to take you out. Parents, they'll take you out even if they don't have a gun. They will charge you because they want to hurt you, because like you're taking out their pride and joy, right? If the same shooter went to the World Economic Forum in Davos, and then they started like picking out billionaires, even if a cop shoots you down, it's going to be other people running to pick up your gun, like people who didn't even know you were going to be there. They're going to pick up your gun and just start picking off the billionaires too, because they understand something needs to be done. Of course, I'm not advocating for violence, but I'm just saying, if you were going to be going on a school shooting, you're seriously considering it. If you reach out to me, I'll see what I can do on like raising money for you to get to Davos, to hopefully, enjoy it in peace. But if you got like a Dexter-like situation where you feel like you have to kill people, and I understand that this is America, we have a culture that embraces murder. Because you look at the any sport, we saluting a bunch of people who had to kill people for education and housing, or military, right? You put on any show, it's probably going to be a fuckload of killing. And if you watch a documentary, it's likely to be based on a serial killer like Jeffrey Dahmer. He had multiple series based on his exploits. All right, so if I think there's a lot of Americans out there with a lot of unresolved issues, murderous rage, and if it's in you, and you feel like you have to kill a bunch of kids, I will have a fundraiser to get you to Davos, because I hear it's a great place to relax and just stop thinking about murdering kids. So I'll leave it at that. Defeat Davos, yes. Trench coats are 290s. It's about the shiesties now. Shiesties for hope. I don't know what that is, but I mean, I know what shiesty means, but the terminology might mean something different. Because I would look at Kamala Harris and I'd be like, that's a shiesty motherfucker. Trump, shiesty, just shady, not worthy of respect or trust. So I don't know if but shiesty could mean something totally different. That's when I was coming up. But I appreciate y'all for showing up. This shit is about to automatically kick me off, so I'll get to getting. Got some business to take care of. Ski masks or just masks. I was just thinking, all the time in 2020 they kept pressuring everybody to wear a mask. What if everybody just start wearing a mask again and just doing things that people with masks used to do before 2020? I don't know. Peace, Nate. All right. Appreciate you as well. Appreciate you. Love you. Godspeed. Be good to each other.